Most people think that $15 DoorDash order is a luxury. They think it's a sign of laziness or a lack of financial discipline. They're wrong. That $15 isn't for the food. It's the price of admission to stay sane for another 24 hours in a system designed to drain you dry. It's 6:15 p.m. on a Tuesday. You just spent 9 hours in a fluorescent-lit office or a series of Zoom calls that could have been emails. You're sitting in your car, staring at the steering wheel. Your brain feels like a browser with 50 tabs open, and 3 of them are playing music you can't find. You're exhausted, not the kind of exhaustion you can sleep off, but a cognitive burnout that makes the simple act of choosing between chicken or pasta feel like solving a differential equation. You know you have food in the fridge. You have groceries you paid for on Sunday with the best intentions. But the gap between having ingredients and having a meal requires a bridge of mental energy that you simply do not possess right now. So, you open the app. You tap a few buttons. You pay the delivery fee, the service fee, and the tip. You pay $28 for a $14 burrito. And for a moment, as you wait for that car to appear on the map, you feel a tiny spark of relief. You're working harder than you ever have. You're making more money than your parents did at your age, but somehow you feel less secure. You're told that if you just skipped the latte and the takeout, you'd have a down payment for a house. But the math doesn't add up. You aren't spending your way into poverty. You are buying back your capacity to function. That's not a coincidence. It's a survival mechanism. My name is Bond. I don't sell motivation, and I'm not here to give you a budget spreadsheet. I spend my time studying the invisible equations that govern modern American life, the hidden mechanics that keep you running on a treadmill that's slowly accelerating. If you're tired of being told you're the problem when the system is the one glitching, you might want to join us here at Bond Money Mind. We don't do fluff. We do forensic reality. Today, we're going to perform a forensic audit on your burnout. What you're experiencing has a name: decompression spending. It's the mandatory financial sacrifice we make to offset the psychological damage of our productivity-obsessed culture. It is the tax of the tired. And once you see the math behind it, you realize that the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. But here's the most dangerous part. The real cost of that DoorDash order isn't the $30 leaving your bank account. It's what that $30 represents. The exact moment you lost the ability to choose how your life is lived. And the math I'm about to show you in the next few minutes, it's going to change how you look at your paycheck forever. If this sounds like your daily life, I've mapped out the entire structural mind map of this trap in the description. Download it, visualize the gears, and see exactly where your energy is leaking before you even finish your workday. The system doesn't rely on force, it relies on habits. And habits are easier to control than people. Let's look at the first gear in this machine, the decision fatigue loop. In the United States, we are marketed the idea of freedom of choice. You have 50 types of cereal and 1,000 streaming shows. But choice isn't free. It costs cognitive energy. By the time you finish a workday in a high-pressure American environment, your executive function, the part of your brain that handles complex planning and willpower, is essentially bankrupt. This is what researchers call decision fatigue. The system knows that a tired brain will always choose the path of least resistance. It's why gas stations put candy at eye level, and why food delivery apps send you push notifications at 5:30 p.m. You aren't choosing DoorDash, you are being diverted into it because your brain's internal governor has been switched off by design. But it gets worse. This isn't just about one tired person. It's about the structural escalation of the American household. We call this the two-income trap. Decades ago, a single income could provide a buffer, a stay-at-home parent who handled the shadow work of cooking, cleaning, and logistics. That was a living form of insurance. Today, the system has bid up the price of the middle-class starter pack, housing in good school districts, healthcare, and education, until it requires 2 full-time incomes just to compete. Even when you do everything right, this part ensures you never get ahead. Because now both earners are coming home at 6:00 p.m. with 0 cognitive energy left. There is no buffer left. The shadow work that used to be done for free now has to be outsourced to the market. You pay a premium for convenience because you no longer have the time or the sanity to be inconvenienced. You aren't buying a luxury service. You are paying a poverty premium to keep your dual income engine from seizing up. Now, let's run the numbers. American style. Imagine you took a side hustle or a promotion that pays you an extra $50,000 to $1,000 a year. On paper, you're winning. But let's apply a forensic audit. First, the IRS takes their cut. And since this is your second income, it's taxed at your highest marginal rate. Then comes the work tax, the extra childcare, $15,000, the second car payment and gas, $8,000, and the decompression spending, those $15 to $30 daily hits for convenience food and stress relief because you're too burnt out to function, $7,000. Run the numbers long enough, and you realize this isn't bad luck. It's design. After all that extra work, your household might only net an extra $2,000 a year. You are working thousands of hours for what amounts to about $1 an hour in actual profit. Pause for a second. That feeling you have right now? That's clarity. You aren't bad with money. You are just operating in a system where the math is rigged against your peace of mind. Numbers don't lie, but they can be hidden. I've prepared a forensic slide deck below that breaks down the tired tax into plain English. Download the PDF and run your own audit. See if your math matches the reality I'm showing you. What this system really takes isn't just your money, it's your margin. In the American economy, we've been trained to obsess over gross income, but the system thrives on your net sanity. When you spend that $15 on DoorDash, you aren't just paying for a burrito, you are paying a surcharge for the fact that your job has hijacked your ability to provide for yourself. Think about the shadow work. The hours spent commuting, the time spent decompressing in front of a screen because you're too tired to engage with your family, the mental energy spent worrying about the next micro-catastrophe, like a $300 engine light. These aren't just inconveniences. They are vampire costs that bleed your life force until you have nothing left to give to the things that actually matter. We've traded our flexibility for a fragile version of the middle class. We live in houses we're too tired to enjoy, driving cars that exist only to take us to the jobs that pay for the cars. Your real wealth isn't the number in your savings account. It's the number of hours in a day you actually own. Most people never escape because they think this is about intelligence or grinding harder. It isn't. It's about awareness. It's about realizing that the hedonic treadmill is designed to keep you running faster just to stay in the same place. You aren't failing the system. The system is successfully harvesting your time. Once you shift your identity from a consumer to a strategist, the math changes. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Is this worth the hours of my life it cost to earn it?" You realize that richness isn't about having more. It's about needing less from a system that wants to sell you back your own peace of mind at a premium. So the question isn't whether the system exists. The question is whether you can step outside it. Is it possible to stop the bleeding without crashing your entire life? Before we dive into the exit strategy, take a moment to look at your own invisible equations. If this perspective is hitting home, it's because you've known something was off for a long time, but you just didn't have the words for it. This is what we do here at Bond Money Mind. We name the invisible. If you want to be part of a community that values clarity over consumption and time over status, hit that subscribe button now. It's the first step toward reclaiming the margin the system tried to take from you. You need to know your own decompression score. I've built a burnout quiz in the description to help you quantify the cost of your exhaustion. Go take it now. Most people find the results to be a massive wake-up call. Freedom doesn't come from fighting the system. You can't protest a mathematical equation. Freedom comes from understanding where the system drains you and quietly refusing to bleed. If the system is designed to harvest your exhaustion, the only way to win is to stop being so exhausted. But in a world that demands 110%, how do you actually do that? You start by renegotiating your fixed costs of existence. The most radical thing a modern American household can do is to stop living on two incomes. I'm not saying one person should quit their job. I'm saying you should build a life that can be sustained by only one of those paychecks. When you bake both incomes into your mortgage, your car payments, and your subscription services, you have zero leverage. You are all in on a game where you don't control the cards. By capping your lifestyle at the level of a single income and using the second strictly for buying back your future, investing, paying off high-interest debt, or building a walk-away fund, you create a buffer. That buffer is the only thing that stands between you and a DoorDash-fueled breakdown. We have to talk about lifestyle creep. It's a quiet killer. Every time you get a 5% raise, the world tries to sell you a 10% increase in your standard of living. New car, bigger house, better experiences. But remember the math from earlier? Most of those upgrades require more maintenance, more insurance, and more of your cognitive energy. Real wealth is the ability to say no to an upgrade because you value your Wednesday afternoon naps more than a heated steering wheel. Practice aggressive simplicity. It's not about deprivation. It's about choosing which inconveniences you are willing to tolerate in exchange for your soul. The system wants you to outsource everything: your cooking, your cleaning, your entertainment, your child's upbringing. Why? Because an outsourced life is an expensive life. Reclaiming your sanity means reclaiming your ability to do things for yourself. This isn't just about saving $15 on delivery. It's about the psychological power of knowing you aren't dependent on an app to survive the night. When you cook a meal, you aren't just making food. You are proving to your brain that you still have agency. You are stepping off the treadmill, even if only for 30 minutes. These aren't hacks. They are structural shifts. They require you to look at your neighbors, your colleagues, and the Instagram influencers telling you to hustle harder and realize that they are the ones trapped. You aren't falling behind by living smaller. You are moving to a different track entirely. To stay on this new track, grab the Actionable Strategy Map from the links below. It's a blueprint for anyone ready to stop living for the bills and start owning their time again. Keep it on your phone as your daily refusal guide. We've been conditioned to believe that the opposite of poor is rich. But that's the final trick of the system. In the world we've built, the opposite of poor isn't having $1 million. It's having options. It's the ability to say no to a toxic boss, no to a soul-crushing commute, and no to the $15 DoorDash order, because you actually have the time and the spirit to nourish yourself. When you start looking at your life through the lens of decompression spending, you realize that your bank account is a direct reflection of your psychological boundaries. Every dollar you reclaim from the convenience tax is a minute of your life you've taken back from the machine. It's not about the money. It's about who owns the 168 hours in your week. If you don't own them, someone else will buy them from you at a discount. I'm not telling you to never order takeout again. I'm telling you to notice the why. Next time you're about to hit that order button, ask yourself, am I hungry, or am I just trying to pay my way out of the misery this day caused me? The moment you ask that question, the system loses its grip. You are no longer a consumer reacting to a push notification. You are a human being observing a mechanism. And observation is the beginning of freedom. The math of modern life is designed to be confusing, so you'll stop trying to solve it. But now, you have the formula. You know that sanity has a price, but you also know that freedom has a strategy. If this analysis changed the way you look at your Tuesday evenings, send this to someone who still thinks their exhaustion is a personal failure. They need to know it's the math, not their mind. I'm Bond. I don't want your hustle. I want your awareness. I'll see you in the next one.